Okay, so we currently have a problem that our inverter doesn't work, or that the washing machine is not spinning in cycle. So it's possible that the inverter is out. In this instance it is. The inverter ended up blowing out. It just doesn't end up working. It doesn't spin, so it needs to be replaced. So what I ended up doing is I ended up finding an equivalent inverter, and this is the current inverter that we're going to be changing. So make sure that you get the right inverter, because if you don't get the right inverter, you can damage your whole system. In my situation, there was an equivalent inverter, so the inverter is different from the one that's inside. So make sure to always remember to unplug, your washer, because if you don't unplug it, then you might risk electrical shock. It's not plugged in. Mainly everything's located at the bottom of the front loader. You can see that I've already removed the front panel to make this video a little quicker. Right here on the panel, this is the bottom portion of it. I lifted the washer, with a piece of wood. There's 4 screws on the front panel. As you can see, there's one screw that goes here, another screw that goes here in the middle, and another screw that goes here on the side. So 3 total screws, as you can see. One screw would go there, there, and there. As this removes, this will fall. So make sure to grab it steadily. As soon as you gain access to the lower part, you will see that your inverter's here, located here in the back. I don't believe any other inverters are located on that side, because mainly on this side is where your pump is at. So the inverter's right there. We currently have over here some wiring that we need to unscrew, which is the ground section. Remember, you want to have everything unplugged from the energy, otherwise you might risk shock. Also remember to not touch any of the circuits on the motherboard of the inverter, because you can also shock yourself. As you can see, there's a sticker that says you could risk shock. So make sure to be careful. This could be pretty dangerous. So I will be removing this screw. If you're having difficulty, on the bottom of the screw there should be a nut. That nut needs to be removed. I will be dropping down the camera a little bit. As I've removed, there was this little nut that was right in the back of it, underneath. Just remove that and try to put this back together a little bit, so I don't end up losing any of the hardware. Another thing that you need to get is there's this little lid right here in the back, as you can see. That lid has all the connections. These connections, you want to unplug these connections. So I will be dropped. There's 2 connections. There's this wire, and then there's another wire. There's 2 tabs that I need to press on by using both hands in order to take them apart. And we'll be taking the camera down again. So once I've taken off the clips, they easily split apart. They're really easy to take apart, and it's not so hard. I'm taking those 2 apart. Also, you can see in the back part there's the motor. The motor can be either accessed from the back or from the front. The only problem is that the motor is kind of hard to get from this side, so I'm going to have to wait on that right now. There's also a screw on the bottom part of here and here, and also there might be another screw on the other side, so you might want to remove those. I removed those in advance. The screw was right there, so I ended up removing this screw, and now my inverter's pretty much loose. It's free to move. So now I'm going to go to the back part. This might get a little harder because I can't really access this wire up over here. So as you can see here in the back part, there's this panel. This panel has 4 screws, 1 screw right there, another screw down there, another screw down there, another screw down there. I've taken 3 of the screws in advance to make this a little faster. So just to demonstrate, there's the screw right here. And take that screw off. Come back up. If you end up pushing this tab down, there's these little hooks right here on the side. They end up being a little tough to take off, but then it ends up coming off. So in the back we have, our tumbler, and we have our belt, and we have our motor. Our motor has a 13mm socket, so you will have to remove this belt and this bolt in order to access the back part of the motor. It does make it a lot easier, or you could also try to struggle by doing it from the front. I will be removing the belt and the motor. I have a 13mm socket set, and the motor is right, and the socket and the nut is just located right here. As soon as this is removed, you can actually swivel the motor back and up and down, and then pull it into this direction, and you'll be able to take it out. So I will be demonstrating that also. As you can see right here, if I pull a little bit on the belt, I can actually unalign it from the wheel and then just turn it, and it'll eventually fall off really easily. It's a little difficult once you want to put it back on. As you can see, now we have access to the motor. It's a little easier here from the back and reaching all the way from the front. There are some small little tabs that you need to press in order to pull these, and then you have the extra ground wire that's down here at the bottom. You also have to pull that out, so there's actually 2 wires. Okay, so we've taken off the wire. On this little small one right here, there's a little tab that you actually have to press. If you don't press that little tab, you won't be able to take it off of the motor. Here's the current motor. Move that to the side. Now we can actually go to the actual little front and take out the inverter. So now that the inverter is over here, we can actually reach it.